He was a broke 22-year-old college student, living off instant noodles and overdraft protection. He worked late-night shifts just to afford textbooks. The irony? It was those textbooks that would make him a millionaire. With only $40 in his bank account and zero business experience, he stumbled upon a side hustle that would eventually change his life. What started as selling a few secondhand books from his dorm turned into a full-blown empire. No trust fund, no fancy degree. Just relentless hustle, a smart eye for opportunity, and the kind of patience most people can't handle. This is how he turned $40 into a million-dollar business. No luck, no shortcuts. This is the untold story of a real underdog. Jake was born in the frost-bitten heart of Detroit, where the roar of shuttered factories and the ache of empty pockets shaped his childhood. His parents, a night shift janitor and a diner waitress, shared a single mantra: work hard, stay humble, and maybe life won't kick you down. They lived in a cramped, roach-infested apartment where dinner often meant splitting a can of beans 3 ways. By 12, Jake was hustling candy bars outside liquor stores, not for pocket money, but to help cover the electric bill.
Every dollar's a soldier. Send enough into battle, and maybe you'll win the war.
When Jake's mom pawned her wedding ring to pay for his school supplies, he learned a brutal truth. Pride doesn't fill stomachs, and honor won't fix a broken furnace. The only inheritance his family gave him? A survival instinct. In the frozen winter of 2020, Jake hit rock bottom. Evicted from his roach-infested studio, $30,000 in debt, and forced to scavenge cafeteria leftovers to survive. He was left with nothing but the harsh reality of winter, both outside and inside. Forced to sleep in his Honda Civic, Jake wrapped himself in fast food napkins as makeshift blankets, while during the day he delivered pizzas with a smile that belied the panic hidden inside. By night, he scavenged through trash bags of discarded textbooks, sorting through mold and memories under the fickle glow of a flickering flashlight. The breaking point came when his car broke down in a desolate Walmart parking lot. In the biting cold, with frost creeping into his bones, he screamed until his voice cracked. Then, in that darkest moment, he opened a waterlogged book labeled Advanced Biochemistry and discovered it was worth $1,500. If this trash can be a treasure, so can I, he vowed. Back in 2013, Jake hit rock bottom in his cramped, barely heated dorm room. Student loans piled high, rent overdue, and only $43 left in his checking account. One desperate night after his debit card was declined at the grocery store, the pressure was unbearable. Instead of surrender, Jake cracked open a business podcast he'd been avoiding for months. That single episode flipped a switch in his mind. While others partied, he burned the midnight oil, listing books, analyzing demand, and quietly laying the foundation for an empire. One night in early 2014, after a brutal week of juggling classes, work, and rejection emails from internships, he sat alone in the dark dorm lounge. That's when he stumbled upon a podcast titled, "You Don't Need Money, You Need Guts." That single phrase, "You don't need money to make money, just courage and consistency," hit him like a freight train. For the first time, he didn't feel hopeless. He felt powerful. He saw his stack of old textbooks not as clutter, but as capital. The turning point came on a frigid December night when Jake, stranded in that Walmart parking lot with his dying phone and an empty gas tank, flipped open the waterlogged biochemistry textbook. As he scanned its barcode with shaking hands, the Book Scouter app flashed a number that made his breath stop: 1,500. In that moment, the world tilted. This whole time, I've been walking past gold. The next morning, he skipped his pizza delivery shift and spent his last $20 on gas to drive to every dumpster behind every college campus in the city. He didn't just find books. He found a pattern. Rare editions, out-of-print manuals, even signed copies tossed out by professors. His hands froze as he worked, but his mind burned with a new mantra. You don't need money to make money. You just need to see what others ignore. His first hustle was simple: selling used textbooks online. The first book he flipped earned him just $7 in profit, but that was enough. It proved people would pay for what he could find, list, and ship. He started scanning barcodes at library sales and campus dumpsters, hunting for hidden gems. Within a month, he had made $680. By month 3, he crossed $2,000. Then came the big risk. He took his last $320, money meant for food and transportation, and spent it all at a weekend book auction. It was a bet. Either he'd flip the books and profit or walk hungry and broke. It paid off. Those $320 in books brought in nearly $2,000 in 2 weeks. From there, he built systems, spreadsheet tracking, pricing bots, a part-time shipping assistant. He skipped the traditional get an internship, wait for a salary path, and created his own. The hustle taught him something deeper. Success wasn't about scale. It was about momentum. Most people never start. He did, and that made all the difference. Jake's first official hustle truly began with a single moldy calculus textbook he sold for $200, enough to buy a scanner and a month of bus passes. But his real gamble came when he skipped rent to buy 50 discarded books for $300, betting everything on a hunch. For weeks, he lived on ramen while testing a ruthless strategy, targeting worthless international editions thrown out by professors. Within 3 months, he turned $300 into $15,000. But not without near disaster. When PayPal froze his account for suspicious activity, he slept in libraries for weeks, manually shipping orders from campus computers. His smart shortcut? Ignoring retail prices entirely. Instead, he tracked real-time demand on niche forums, hoarding books others overlooked. While everyone fought over bestsellers, he laughs, I cornered the market on 1980s Russian physics manuals. By year's end, he'd scaled to $250,000, proving that the biggest risk wasn't failing, but betting on the wrong trash. Jake's empire wasn't built on luck. It ran on ruthless systems. His daily ritual, 4 a.m. dumpster runs, followed by a spreadsheet deep dive tracking buyer patterns from Berlin to Mumbai. Early on, he made a costly mistake. Hoarding books he thought were valuable, only to drown in storage fees. That pain birthed his 24-hour rule. If a book didn't sell in a day, it got donated. No nostalgia, no second guessing. Even after hitting 1 million, he still personally vetted every rare book. One turned out to be a library counterfeit. Lesson burned in, trust, but scan the barcode twice. By 2018, just 4 years after flipping his first textbook, his online bookstore had crossed $1.2 million in total sales. By 2023, his trash empire had hit new heights. A defining moment came with a $15,000 month when international university libraries began placing bulk orders for the obsolete textbooks he'd stockpiled. Then came the Forbes feature, The Dumpster Millionaire, catapulting him into the spotlight with a 12-employee operation and a 10,000-square-foot warehouse under his belt. Today, his estimated net worth sits between $2 million and $3 million. Most built on books, digital courses, and reinvested profits. He's been featured in Forbes' 30 Under 30, mentored hundreds on campus, and delivered a TEDx talk called You Don't Need Capital, You Need Courage. His favorite quote says it all. The system isn't rigged, it's just waiting to be outsmarted. And that's exactly what he did. Today, Jake drives a Tesla Cybertruck but still refuses to pay full price for his daily coffee. His lifestyle is a study in calculated contrasts. He'll drop $5,000 on a rare book auction for inventory, yet wears thrift store hoodies and negotiates his gym membership. 20% of his profits fund dumpster scholarships, covering textbook costs for over 300 low-income students. Money's not for flexing, it's for helping, he often repeats. He even posts side-by-side photos, a flashback from his dorm room filled with used books, and a serene, contemplative moment on a beach in Bali that reads, "Freedom feels like this." His version of financial freedom? Waking up knowing I could lose it all tomorrow and still rebuild from scratch. Recently, he even viral tweeted a side-by-side, his 2020 Honda Civic Office versus his current 10,000-square-foot warehouse, captioned, "Same hustle, better dumpster." He may not be a household name, but his legacy speaks volumes. Over the past few years, he's personally mentored over 200 students, many of whom now run their own profitable reselling businesses. He's quietly helped launch 15 student-run e-commerce ventures through micro-grants and mentorship programs. Jake's real legacy isn't his net worth. It's the 4,200-plus students who've used his dumpster scholarships to graduate debt-free, or the 17 single moms he employs as book scouts. His warehouse now doubles as a hustler's library, where anyone can study his annotated playbooks like The Art of Trash Arbitrage and negotiating with scarcity mindset. His final quote in a campus keynote said it best.
Money isn't the goal, freedom is. But freedom is worthless if you don't use it to lift someone else.
He's become the quiet example in a noisy world. No flexing, no ego, just proof that hustle, discipline, and purpose can quietly rewrite your future and someone else's too.
Do you know what most people don't realize? Your biggest problem isn't money, it's your mindset. Wealth isn't a number, it's freedom to choose.
This isn't just the story of one college student flipping textbooks. It's the story of how anyone, with grit, purpose, and strategy, can take back control of their life. If he turned his life around, what's stopping you? You don't have to be famous, just wise. Jake's journey proves one undeniable truth. Wealth isn't about your starting point. It's about your perspective. You don't need a trust fund or connections. You just need the willingness to see value where others see trash. If a broke college dropout can turn dumpsters into millions, what's your excuse? Stop waiting for permission or perfect conditions. That overlooked skill, that worthless item, that problem everyone complains about, that's your golden ticket. Broke is temporary. Poor thinking is permanent. Which one are you? Smash that like button if you're ready to rewrite your story. Comment Underdog for Jake's free trash arbitrage.